are you? Well, here it is. Monday already. Rolls around fast, doesn't it? Where do the weekends go? You spend them painting walls. And with the weather we've had the last few days, cutting lawns in December. How about that? Russ Gibb at random on Group W Cable here in Dearborn, jumping up and down. And my guest today is a guy that evidently some people want to jump up and down with, and other people want to jump up and down at Mr. Tom Sharrard. He's the general manager here at Group W. We call him the boy wonder of the cable industry. And we're going to be talking to Tom about Group W here in Dearborn. And I have a whole list of little questions I want to ask him about service and about insurance and all kind of things. So if you're a cable subscriber, and obviously you are if you're watching, hang in there. I'll probably ask the question that you want to ask. But if I don't, and you have a question that you want to direct here to the show, it's very, very easy to get a response. Simply get out a pen. That's right, get an old pen out and jot down this address, okay? Russ Gibb, at random, Group W Cable, Mercantile Drive, Dearborn, Michigan. And then we'll get your card, and we'll read it on the air, or your letter. For instance, we've had an awful lot of response to Cleo, the astrologer. And we're going to have Cleo on next week. That's right, next week Cleo will be on. And people have been sending me in the information so that Cleo can make a reading for you right on the air. Now, what we need for Cleo is that we need your place of birth, the exact city and state where you were born, the time of birth, AM or PM, and the date of birth. And then Cleo will throw a chart for you. So if you wanna send in on that, make sure you jot down that information, and then we'll give it to her on the air. And if you want your name used, say so. If you don't, also say, well, I'd like this to be anonymous, and we'll do that for you. Well, what have you been up to during the week? Been surviving? I get mad over the weekend reading the papers. I get a little crazy. And as you know, I read a wide variety of newspapers and watch a lot of television. And the thing that I got mad about this week was John Wayne. Yep, the Duke. You know, he's been dead about a year now, and a lot of us felt that he was a great American. Oh, not because he was a movie actor, but because he dared to stand up and be counted. And I think a lot of people in the media, and particularly the Hollywood liberal set, have always been down on John Wayne because of his pro-American stance. A lot of people don't know that back in the 30s, John Wayne was one of the few actors, along with Ronald Reagan and Adolph Manjou and people like that, who dared to stand up against the communist takeover of the media. And you know, a lot of people poo-poo that and say, oh, that didn't happen, the communists wouldn't do that. Listen, when you have spies right in the top echelons of the British government, when you have spies in our State Department, Russian spies, don't kid yourself. That type of thing does go on. And the communists have always been aware that any of the media is prime target for their operatives. In other words, if you're going to convince anybody to do anything today, you have to have spokesmen within the media. In fact, in the Soviet Union, they make no bones about it. I have a videotape from Swedish television where the head of the media in Russia makes a point that, of course, they will never show anything good about America on Russian television, and of course they're going to always point out our weak points, because they believe that propaganda is a legitimate area for the state, and that the state does have the right, as well as the responsibility, to control the media, and to control what people think. And of course, the person that controls the media controls what people think about things. Well, the Duke, back in the early days, in the 30s, fought the communists, and they hated them. And there are many liberals today who still hate John Wayne because of what he did to stop that takeover of the American motion picture industry back in the 30s. And you know, I think it's about time we honor this great American. And some people are suggesting that we put a stamp out to him. After all, we have a stamp for Dr. Mary Walker, And as you recall, Dr. Walker was, known as a lesbian. And so she's on one of our stamps being honored. And we also have a stamp honoring Horatio Alger. Now, we all know Horatio. Recently, it's come out that he was a child molester. So I assume, I think if we're doing this for Dr. Mary Walker and Horatio, at least we could have a stamp for a patriotic American called John Wayne. There's a lot of opposition to it. If you think as I do, why don't you just drop a card or a note to your state, to your rather national representative or your congressperson, and let them know how you feel about it. And then they'll mail that on to the post office. Well, needless to say, that's one of the things that burned me up during the week. But a lot of things do. But there are some good things, too. Christmas on its way, and that's always a good thing to think about. Listen, we're going to take time out now for a few little words from sponsors. Thank goodness for sponsors. Capitalism, Ray, and all that. And then we'll be back with the man that has a lot of influence now in Dearborn media, Mr. Tom Sharrard, the general manager of Group W. And Russ Gibb at random with my guest today, Mr. Tom Sharrard, the general manager of Group W here. You're too young to be a general manager. You're really only 16, aren't you?
True.
Tom, you're now living in Dearborn.
Sure.
You're no longer one of those foreigners living out there in where? Farmington Hills?
It's true.
You're right here in Dearborn, so we know where to get you if things don't go right.
That's right.
Frankly, compared to the last time we spoke about 3 months ago, a lot of things are going correctly here. In fact, I have to tell you that I can now go down to the Big Apple, eat breakfast without people complaining about the fact that, A, they don't have the TV guide or that their bills are incorrect. Even though, Tom, what happened last week here? Because across my show and across a lot of TV channels here at Group W Cable, there was a little sign about, oops, we goofed or something about the billing. What happened, Tom?
One of those things that make life interesting for a general manager. We deal with a computer company in California, and they handle all of our billings. We're a very large corporation, and in the interest of efficiency and keeping customer rates as low as possible, we try and consolidate. Mm-hmm. Well, the old, anyone who works in computers knows the old garbage in, garbage out.
So we put some garbage in?
Well, we sent a very simple request to them, and we said, if we've got some customers that have not paid their bill in over 2 months, would you please put a past due notice on them?
Okay.
And evidently one of the crack staff somewhere punched it into the computer, and in the section that says date, they punched it in so it was programmed so that all the bills hit with past due.
Even people that had paid their bills?
Yes, even people that had paid their bills. So we were extremely upset about it, have taken some action with our corporation to try and resolve the matter, to assure it does not happen again. And we've made a great effort to contact customers in the city to let our good customers know it was an error, don't worry about it. There will be absolutely no reflection on their credit or whatsoever. It was just simply, instead of a date being printed in on their statement, a past due was printed in. So you try to do what you can.
Did Dearbornites respond rapidly to that little note?
Unbelievable. Our phone activity Monday, I think, was the highest it's been in several months. But once we've got one of the advantages, we have our cable television system, and one of the neat things about cable television is it's a local communications medium.
That's right.
And you have a way to instantly, you don't have to wait till the next weekly paper comes out. Instantly, that noon, we had announcements on all our channels, and by late in the day on Monday, the calls had died down, and by Tuesday, we were just about back to normal. So that encourages me that people are watching our cable television that we can effectively communicate with.
Tom, I can tell you people are watching. I'm amazed at the response we're getting on our show here. Mm-hmm. You say, well, gee, how many people have cable? How many people do? Is that trade secret? Can we talk
Not
about
at all. We're very proud of the fact our system has only been completed. We completed the system on time on August 6th, with the exception of the infamous Oakwood Boulevard, which was just a few days after that. And we have 12,000 customers.
12,000 people?
Yes, 12,000 homes in the city of Dearborn are already hooked to cable, and we are continuing to hook up customers at over 300 homes a week.
You're kidding. That's a good penetration of a market, then.
For the first pass, we're very excited about it.
What do most people take, Tom? I mean, what can we get in cable now today? I mean,
well, basically, it's the one thing I think that's difficult about our industry, and the reason that I'm sure that the people of Dearborn who don't have cable are going to have cable, nearly all of them eventually, is that they don't really understand what we've got. I think we're one of the industries that's very difficult, is that people don't really understand our product.
Well, they think we're on. A lot of people think we're on, or HBO or something, and we're that plus, aren't we?
We are very much so. I think one of the things we have got in the city of Dearborn, probably the best bargain of anywhere in the country in terms of cable television services, because for a mere $6.95 a month, you can get 46 channels of entertainment. And I'm not talking specifically about our pay services. We're very interested in our pay services. We make money.
What do you mean by pay services now?
Well, there's really two different segments to our cable service. The first is your basic service, and the basic service includes everything you get off the air, channels 2, 4, 7, 9, 50, 56, 62, 20.
With an antenna.
9. Right, only even better reception, because we have a 150-foot tower out back of our building here that has a separate antenna pointing to every one of those TV stations so that you get the best quality. And I must tell you, Russ, being very subjective about it, just having to move to Dearborn just a couple of weeks ago, I got my own sets hooked up, and I am now a Group W customer myself. And I've been in the television business and the video business for over 10 years, and I can tell you very objectively that the quality of the pictures in our system are by far the best I've ever seen in a cable system.
On a cable system.
Yes.
But they can be better, though, right? Because I've watched it, honestly. I've watched it a couple times. Now, not so much recently, but in the early days, there was a lot of breakdowns.
Yeah.
And that was a problem, I guess, with a part called a tap that you folks addressed. And I guess there's a lawsuit going to be against that company.
Potentially a lawsuit, yes. We were unfortunate enough to have a number of defective taps that were known they were defective.
And that's why the power was going out.
Yes.
But every once in a while, I'll watch my show. Every once in a while, I watch it every time it's on. And it seems that it's too bright, or it's too dark, or the cameras don't match. What causes that? Is that cable, or?
There's two different kinds. Maybe I could explain a little bit about the different types of programs in our basic services. I'd start out to say the first one is off-air signals. Secondly, we get lots of signals off the satellite, such as your superstations, your WTVS, Ted Turner, the 24-hour news, etc. And then we have what we call local television stations, and all those are programmed locally. And I think one of the things we're doing is, in many essences, we're doing our job too well here, because we are promoting local programming so quickly, and we've gotten such a tremendous response from the local citizens of Dearborn, that we are programming 80 hours a week of local television
That's
shows.
about a record in the country.
It's phenomenal. 80 hours per week is phenomenal for a cable system.
Well, I know the studio here. I brought some of my broadcast people and friends from broadcasting. They couldn't believe this was a cable. Normally, a cable studio is a little box with one camera.
That's right.
And here you have a full television studio with another one looks like it's being built down here. And then you have all those editing suites. It's pretty impressive, okay?
Yes, we have over $1 million worth of television equipment available for Dearborn citizens here. And we're working right now, we are programming actively 4 television stations. And if you can imagine, Channel 4 trying, 4 months after it's fully in operation, trying to program 4 separate television stations at the same time is a very ambitious project. But we feel the citizens of Dearborn are interested in these programs. We feel that the tremendous response we've gotten from your show, the tremendous response we've gotten from some of our other local shows, that we need to work. It's not where I want it to be. I want it to be technically perfect, but we're...
Oh, so you're saying that there are some technical bugs yet that you guys are working on. I notice there's an engineer in there every Saturday when we come down to tape. There's a guy, pulling plugs in and so forth.
That's right, and we have got a couple of more slots in our engineering staff that we're going to fill. But we're very concerned. One of the things that we're extremely concerned about is getting the very best quality people. So we don't, sometimes things get a little delayed in the process. For instance, with our marketing manager, we waited 3 months to hire our marketing manager for this city because we wanted to get the very best person we could.
When he walked by me this morning, he was smiling. He said, boy, ask Tom about some kind of new marketing deal or some project or something that's going on our cable. What was that? Why would he ask me that?
Well, we've got a couple of new things we'd like to do. Basically, we think we've got the problems 98% solved.
I think we do too.
With a $13 million construction project with 251 miles of cable, with 240 amplifiers, with 12,000 taps, with 12,000 converters, you're going to have...
Okay,
you're going to have problems. But we feel very good that we're able to respond to our problems. And what we really would like now is for people who've not yet subscribed to Group W Cable to subscribe to it. And what I'd like to do today is offer a Russ Gibb Show exclusive, if I could, at this point in time.
What does it cost me?
Not a dime.
I like that, Sharrard. Speak up, my boy.
But it will also maybe get you some new subscribers and get some new viewers for your program, which I think is great, what we need. If anybody's watching the show today and you are not...
Well, this is Monday.
This is Monday, that's right. And if you're watching the show today and you have a neighbor or a relative or someone who does not have Group W cable yet, they're not a subscriber, and you are a subscriber, what I'm going to do is make a special offer. If you can convince your neighbor to sign up for Group W cable, we will credit your bill for 1 free month of cable service, basic service, $6.95. So if you can convince somebody else that Group W cable is a great thing, we'll pay you. We'll reward you with a free month of basic service.
But how do I do that then?
All you have to do is contact our sales office or call in our main number, which is 336-9633, which is our main Group W number here, and tell them, I've got a neighbor who's interested in Group W. I saw the Gibb show. I'd like to get the credit on my bill.
They have to mention the Gibb show?
That's right. They have to mention
R-U-S-S-G-I-B-B, folks. You got it.
We got another special this month, too, that we're running because we feel we got a great product. And I think once you have had cable, and I think those of you at home that have cable.
Yeah, I have it now, and I love it.
Once you're used to having 24-hour news anytime you want it, once you're used to having ESPN and the sports.
I love the movie channels. And that's the pay part that we really never talked about.
We've got another special going.
Even your dirty movies I like. And I know that's not your responsibility.
If anybody, we're trying to work with local businesses. We want to be a part of this community. That's why I moved here. When I said I was going to take this job, I wanted to become a citizen. Group W wants to be an active member of this community. We're a member of the Chamber of Commerce. We're a member of the East Dearborn Business Association.
Oh, I know you're a new member because I saw your wife painting walls when I drove by your house. Yes, while you were off fooling around with cable, there was your wife painting walls.
She's still there painting as we speak, as a matter of fact. But we're running another special with local businesses because we think that Dearborn businesses are important. We think it's important to keep our community strong. We're going to run a special. We're contacting all the local appliance dealers today, as a matter of fact, and have contacted them over the weekend.
What do you mean, like Mike Adre and Highlands?
Right, every one of the...
What's that other one up on Michigan, the big discount one? There's Highlands on Michigan Avenue. There's Fetters.
Fetters, right. All the local appliance dealers. Is kind of a goodwill gesture and a Christmas present for the local appliance dealers. We're going to offer a further promotion this month, and that's that if you're a Group W subscriber and you buy a new color television set before Christmas, we're going to give you a free month of cable.
Even if I have it now?
Even if you have it now.
If I buy a new TV set? Mm-hmm. But how do you know that it's not new? I could show you the bill will be dated.
All you've got to do is bring in the bill. Yeah. Bring the bill to us, mail a copy in, say, I saw your television show, I bought a new TV, we'll credit you. The other thing we're going to do, again, to encourage new customers, is if you're not a subscriber now and you're going to buy a new TV, why, buy a new television and we'll also credit you with 1 month.
So anybody that buys a new color television set before Christmas.
Right, we'll get 1 month of free cable. And if you're not
But what about the installation, though? Isn't there going to be a charge on
free
installing?
installation. It's still free installation.
So you get the free installation plus?
A month's basic service.
Service free.
$6.95.
Now, basic service is what?
The 47 channels, which is all your off-air stations, the 3 super stations out of New York,
that's
Chicago,
Atlanta.
and Atlanta, the 24-hour sports networks, Nickelodeon, which I've got
the children's, yeah, that's a great show.
6-year-old boy, his name is Scott, and he in the last 2 weeks is just glued to Nickelodeon. If you have children, it's all non-violent, educational, Sesame Street type programming for kids, and it's on 14, 15 hours a day.
Well, as an educator, I watched it, and it is good. It is a good service for kids. So you get all that free. And then, but if you want a movie, if you want the movie channel, what does that cost?
We have a sliding scale of multiple pay discounts, we call them, and the more services you buy, the cheaper you get them, and it's tremendous. We have the lowest pay rates of any system in the state of Michigan, and I'll say that right now openly, and the Dearborn has the lowest pay rates for multiple pay of anywhere. And you start out at $6.95 for one, and then it keeps decreasing each time you get additional pay services. But we offer 5 different movie services to customers.
I know. I can't keep track of them. There's so many. In fact, the guide I'm reading continually.
Do you like the new guide? We've got a new guide this month, and we've taken the same
My
format.
name is in it. I loved it. I loved it. It was great. Sharrard. I even spelled it correctly.
True. We've got the same format as you've seen in your local weekly guides, and that's that they have primetime viewing, and we've got all the channels on one page. So we're continuing to make improvements to make it easier for you to read that thing, because it's very confusing.
I had a neighbor, a retired neighbor, and I tried to tell him that they could have free installation just because they're a senior citizen. Is that true?
Well, everyone can have free installation for the first period of construction. 1 year from the time we start in your area, it's free.
But wait a minute, what do you mean by free? Say
Free installation. No
installation. But then if I want to keep it the next month, I have to pay you, right?
Right. There is an installation charge, which all cable companies, same way when you order a telephone normally, you pay anywhere from $15 to $50 to get the thing put in.
Yes, I'm going through that myself. Yes, I can tell you how expensive it is.
Group W, as a promotion, since we're a new company in the community, are offering to waive our installation charge for new customers for this period of time in order to encourage people to become customers.
Okay, now we have 2 deals that you offered on the show. I love it. I love it.
Exclusive to the Russ Gibb show.
Exclusive, yeah. If they mention, by the way, you're going to run me on Saturdays and Sundays now, I hear.
We'd like to run the best of Gibb.
Oh, the best of Gibb. Well, that may be hard to find. Maybe screens may be blank some days, folks. But anyway, if they mention, how does this work? If they mention they watch the show,
if they're watching the show right now and they can get another one of their neighbors to sign up for cable.
Okay.
We will credit them for $6.95 on their monthly bill.
Okay, if they get a neighbor to sign up.
Right, someone who's not a customer now.
Okay.
And they call and say, okay, here's the name of the person. I saw the Gibb show. Please credit my bill. We'll do so.
Okay.
If they're going to buy a new television set, we've got 2 offers. If you're already a subscriber, if you buy a new color TV before Christmas, we're going to give you a month's free service. This is our way of saying thank you to our local appliance dealers to support our local businesses in the city. And secondly, if you're not a customer and you buy a new television, we want you as a Group W customer.
We're going to sign up more customers, aren't we?
We hope so.
We've
got one other promotion I'd like, if I could just talk a little bit about the telethon that we've got coming up this month.
Oh, that's right. That's a very important one.
Again, a demonstration of our commitment to this community, we identified a very worthwhile community project.
That's right.
There is an organization in town called the Dearborn Facilities and Services for the Retarded. And
that's for Dearborn and Dearborn Heights.
Dearborn Heights and Dearborn both. And they have a very great program where they, severely retarded adults that don't have a place to stay, they don't have a place to live, or they can no longer be taken care of, or their parents pass away. They need to be housed somewhere, and we think that's a worthwhile cause. So what we're doing is we're going to be doing a live telethon on December, I believe it's 18th and 19th. It's the Saturday and Sunday. I'll make sure I have the dates right. Starting at 9 p.m. on Saturday night, we're going to go straight through till 6 to 9 p.m. Sunday night, depending on how long we can hold on. And the purpose of the telethon is to raise money for this facility. So we're going to take
pledges, and just like Channel 56 does with bids and things?
In fact, Group W, not only are we going to be sponsoring in excess of $50,000 to help fund this telethon as an interest for the company.
How about my raise?
The other thing we're going to do is this. If we have anybody who's not a cable customer who calls up during that telethon and says, I'm not a Group W cable customer, I'd like to be, I'm watching the telethon, Group W Cable will make a contribution of $6.95, 1 month service to the telethon as well.
I see. So you can help by getting cable as well as making a contribution.
So we encourage everybody to watch during the weekend. If you have any talent, come on down.
You have been a busy bee with all these
programs.
What's the name of your new marketing manager? He's got a lot of ideas.
His name is Hal Frassrand, and he was with Comcast Cablevision, and he's had
I met Hal this morning in the hallway. He was the one that tipped me. He said, ask Sharrard about your show.
We're excited about it. We are.
Tom, I must tell you, as a customer now of about 2.5 months of cable, I love it. It's fascinating, and thank you for being my guest. Will you come back again?
Sure will, anytime.
And people can call you in your office when they're upset or when they're happy, too, right?
I want them to. Call me directly if you have a problem.
Tom Sharrard, the general manager of Group W Cable. This is Russ Gibb, and look, I'll be right back after these announcements. Okay. Gee, Tom Sharrard, and what a deal. What a deal the guy has for you. Free cable if you do what he told you to do. And if you have any doubts, just call us here at Group W and we'll give you the information over the phone. Hey, for those of you that took time to view the show, I want to say thank you. For those of you that took time to drop me a card or a letter, I want to say thank you. But most of all, I'd like to thank you for just being you. Russ Gibb at Random.